Hey folks, how we doing today? It's me again, Shannon Fox here, Devoted Patriots 2 channel, and I've got some clips today here for you about RFK and the hell the Democrats were giving him while the Republicans were defending him. It was a crazy show. If you didn't watch any of that, go check some of it out. It's over on C-SPAN. Some of it was over on Newsmax. Several people carried it, but the hearing today was about the weaponization of the government, and they had canceled everywhere Robert F. Kennedy, Democratic uh, candidate for the primary, trying to take Joe Biden's job, and he's having a hard slog of it considering the establishment wants brain dead Joe in there. But at any rate, the Democrats treated him like Trump today, and there's no doubt about it. They actually, in process of him explaining how he was censored on all the social media sites, these wacko Democrats voted to censor him. They tried to shut him up. They tried to cancel the whole thing. They didn't want to hear what he had to say. They called him a racist over him stating some statistics when he was talking about the Wu flu involving different racial groups having different diverse effects to the jabberdoodle. And so they took that out of context and tried to make it out to say that they don't need to hear what he's got to say because he's anti-Semitic. That was the BS line of the day from the Democrats against Robert F. Kennedy, and I'll show you a little bit of that if you stick around just a little bit. But I do want to let you know I need to make a little bit of a correction or a little better explanation about something I said yesterday. The House does have the sole authority to impeach anybody, any office official, all the way up to the president and the vice president. There's nobody immune to impeachment. That's a fact. But impeachment with the majority, all that does is send it over to the Senate to trial. And that's the case with every political figure. It takes 66 people in the Senate to impeach somebody. So at this point, when they decide to impeach Merrick Garland, which I hear they're going to do in September, it's not going to pass in the Senate. But what will happen while it's in the Senate is Merrick Garland will be exposed because we will have our great senators over there tearing him down and laying it out because it'll actually be a case. And the American public will get to see what a piece of crap Merrick Garland is. And hopefully that'll help us in 2024 as well. Now, we all got to see how that goes down the road, but let me get back into what I want to tell you about. But I just want to make that little bit of a correction. Yes, everything has to go through the House, pass, go to the Senate, 2/3 vote, and it's a done deal. I did hear a few things that were really great pieces of information today, folks, about the Hunter Biden thing involving the whistleblower, Mr. Ziegler, yesterday. Um, when Comer asked him if he could have the paperwork, the receipts, the proof that this guy was discussing, speaking of the bank records, the amounts of money, all these things, Comer asked Mr. Ziegler, the whistleblower, uh, can I have a copy of that stuff? Can I see that stuff? Mr. Ziegler just nodded his head, yes, absolutely. Comer come out earlier this morning, I believe it was on Maria Bartiromo, and he says, because we now have these guys working with us, we're going to be able to get something that we've never been able to have access to before. And this is, and it's foreign banks. Like if you have a Swiss bank account under the name of Joe Biden and it's got $10 million in it per se, just hypothetical, nobody in the world would know it except for these IRS guys who've been all over them like ducks on a June bug for 5 years until they got stymied in process at every turn to try to just expose this stuff. But it boils down to Comer is going to get access to a lot more information because he doesn't have to beg the FBI or the banks for it because he's going to get it through these IRS guys directly. This is awesome news, folks. I didn't catch that yesterday. I did play a part of that video where he asked him that question. But Comer said that this morning, and I thought that's how they'll be able to get to Biden. You will be able to prove the bribery when you can prove that there's money in a bank account in Joe Biden's name that come from one of those 1020, one of those LLCs, or directly from any, or from his son, or from anybody in any of those countries. that were involved in this influence peddling. I think this is going to help expose things, folks. That's actually excellent news. Not everybody's caught on to that yet, but that is excellent news. We have got a whole new treasure trove, another can of worms to open up with unfettered access, because this whistleblower has the information for these guys to dig into it, get it done. The lack of cooperation just ended on at least one level behind this whistleblower showing up yesterday. So that was a win for the country. If for nothing else, we get to expose these folks. We get to prove that Joe Biden took the money, because we'll be able to find it in his accounts when all this is proven, in my opinion. Now let's go ahead and get into this. This is crazy. Like I said, Robert F. Kennedy was before the weaponization committee today, and they asked him some questions, and the Republicans pretty much had to defend him because the Democrats did their best to censure him, of all things. They didn't want to hear it. They called him a racist. They don't want to hear about the Wu flu. They don't like him. I think it's crazy. They turn on each other pretty quick, but they turned on him today like they turned on Trump. If you just put Trump before the House and let the Democrats have 5 minutes with him, that's how they treated this guy today. Here, I'll show you an example.
And the committee majority give a hearing and a platform to the witnesses today, specifically to Mr. Kennedy, a man who has recently claimed that COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and Black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
I was describing an NIH-funded study.
No, you didn't cite any.
I was describing an NIH-funded study by Cleveland Clinic scientists.
Reclaiming my time. You did not reference reclaiming.
Published in USC Medical,
Chairman,
which is one of.
The time is mine. I'm reclaiming it. Please ask the witness to stop talking.
You asked me a question.
Reclaiming.
Allow me to answer my question.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like about 10 seconds back.
You are slandering me incorrectly. You're saying it's dishonest.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Florida.
Defend myself.
As crazy as Mr. Kennedy's theories are, he has been able to effectively spread false medical information throughout our communities due to his prestigious family's name, his deep pockets, and his websites that publish patently false health and medical information.
Now, this is a silly clip here, folks, but it's absolute truth. This is how deranged these Democrats are. Robert F. Kennedy is at a censorship hearing about weaponization of government, how he was censored on all the big tech platforms, and is still actually being censored still today on a lot of them, including probably right here. But at any rate, the Democrats didn't want to hear what he had to say. They called him a racist. They screamed he spouted Wu flu misinformation, and they tried to throw a vote up basically in the middle of his conversation to stop the proceeding, to censure him. And it didn't go so well. The Republicans defended him. It went 10-8, and Democrats didn't get their way. He was still able to speak his piece, and I'm not really a big fan of Democrats these days, but Robert, if there was a Democrat at all that I have any respect for, I would have to say it would probably be Robert F. Kennedy. Let's go ahead and get into it again. This here is a little bit crazy.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to raise a point of order.
Gentlelady can state a point of order.
Point of order pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2, which Mr. Kennedy is violative of. I move that we move into executive session because Mr. Kennedy has repeatedly made despicable anti-Semitic and anti-Asian comments. Okay.
But
Let's just watch the time for all the witnesses.
And if you want to cut him off and censor him some more, you're welcome to do it.
Oh, that's not my job. That's your job. Why don't you threaten a witness so that they can not want to be a witness?
And here we got, folks, Robert F. Kennedy letting them have it, and I love it. This guy was not backing down an inch, and I'm just glad to hear it.
I've never been anti-vaccine, but everybody in this room probably believes that I have been, because that's the prevailing narrative. Anti-Semitism, racism, These are the most appalling, disgusting pejoratives, and they're applied to me to silence me. In my entire life, I have never uttered a phrase that was either racist or anti-Semitic. Silence me. I know many of the people who wrote this letter. I don't believe there's a single person who signed this letter who believes I'm anti-Semitic. The First Amendment was not written for easy speech.
That's right.
It was written for the speech that nobody likes you for. This kind of division is more dangerous for our country than any time since the American Civil War.
That's true.
And how do we deal with that? How are we going to, every Democrat on this committee believes that we need to end that polarization. Do you think you can do that by censoring people? I'm telling you, you cannot.
There. Censorship is real, folks. You can't even talk about censorship in committee without somebody trying to censor you. Ain't that the shits? Like, subscribe, and share to Devoted Patriots. Everybody have a great day. Over and out.